All right, everybody. So it's me again, Andy, streaming the another match, Top 16 Summer Derby, 2020. I'm joined with the foremost authority on Savannah Lions, Seth Roncaroni. And we're going to be calling this game between Pez and Jet. So they are going to be starting soon. I'm excited. Let me just send them a quick message.
I am too. This is actually, of all the top 16, the one I think I wanted to see the most.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Pez's list, Andy,
Yeah.
is my identical 75 from Spike Fest.
Oh, really? Okay. You had very similar. There was another. Wasn't there another deck in the tournament that was very similar to yours? Chef, right? Chef was running.
Oh, it was slightly different for Chef and I had the same 75. Pez had like the one I was playing like 2 months ago.
I gotcha.
And I apologize. While we were trying to flip around, I didn't catch if like they had mulled or not.
Oh, I don't think they did. They didn't mention
Yes,
it.
Pez did mull.
Oh, he did mull. Okay. Well.
Pez, he did mull because he's got 5 cards in hand.
Okay. All right. So that's unfortunate. This is going to be a pretty fast game.
I think Jed mulled also.
It looks like.
So it's interesting, right? Because like Jed is more. He's got Savannah Lions and Serendibs, but then after that he lacks threats, and he doesn't run. He only runs 6 burn spells, right? 4 bolts and 2 side blasts.
Right.
So his reach is limited, so he doesn't kill quickly. He's actually a little slower than what you would consider like a traditional temple list, which is more of like orders, Savannah Lions, and other like threats. He's threat light, but more heavy on the permission.
Right. He's
but
got.
Pez is like a balls to the wall burn spell.
Right, so we're gonna have basically direct damage versus counter spells. That's what it looks like. I'm looking at the list now, so we'll see how that turns out. So Pez on 3
It
mana.
is like so. Here's the weird thing. So like knowing what Pez's list is, he hasn't played anything till turn 3, and that's really weird.
So either. Okay, so he probably has a lot of burn. There's some of it. Quick side blast, and that's going to be a mind twist for 4. Takes the City of Brass, a Lotus, and a Bolt.
He should have played the Lotus, knowing that Jed's on a white list with Disenchant. If you have side blast in hand, because you can get him to waste a Disenchant, which is a really easy way to sort of let your factories live.
Right.
So I think Pez should have probably thrown that Lotus down, because he basically could have made the mind twist for 3 to be. Or 4 to be absolutely nothing, had he played the Lotus.
Right.
And especially if you have Silent Blast in hand, you can always use the Lotus mana, so you're fine like letting him disenchant it if he really so chooses.
So it looks like this isn't going to be as quick a game as we thought. I mean, Mishra's factories on both sides. Jed's got all sorts of mana, and Pez has basically been effectively mind twisted for his whole hand. 1 card in hand.
I mean, his hand wasn't very good, ironically.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't look terrible. But again, we said he mulliganed, so.
Yeah.
So at some point you gotta.
And it's funny because like Pez was like a big favorite being on the play because he is the Black Vice deck, right? Like, so now as the game progresses, like Pez might draw a Black Vice, which is just garbage.
Oh, this is gonna.
Well, maybe not. Really... I don't know how many cards are in.
So Jed drawing 3 cards off that Brain Geyser now puts him in a commanding position, leaving 2 blue open for anything that he might cast. He's gonna chain him.
I mean, and this is why the burn strategy is just so good, though, right? Like, he chains him here. He's 11. He can probably safely attack and put him to 9.
Fear would be, I mean, a swords
at which point, like, Jed has to do something. Right. Well, it's really interesting because like Jed has a hard time to win if his life total gets too low. because he has to basically win through Sarandon. I mean, he can try and win through Lions, but like Lions, it becomes a lot harder as Pez starts to like have everything kills the Lions in this matchup.
Right.
Um,
Not attack, choosing not to attack. So maybe he fears the disenchant. Not sure.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like,
he probably
does he
doesn't
have a
much
draw
in his
7
hand.
in hand, or is he just sitting on another land? Probably not.
Probably not. He's gonna tap his 2 moxes. This is gonna be. Did he cast this time? Oh, he time walked already, so it's not that.
A dib? It might be just a dib.
And like you said, a dib is a little scary at this point. But he says
Right. Because I mean, a bolt and a side blast, and basically the factory can race a dib. So if Pez gets something of value,
yeah, well, he does have his factory to block in case he wants to go that route. But definitely scary. But
well, yeah. So
I guess
Jed's not going to ever attack with his factory.
Yeah. I guess Jed says, I didn't put these in my deck not to attack, so let me cast them and see what happens. So.
Well, I think he had to because he was getting so far behind in the life race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even now,
oh, he does activate
he's
the
going to
factory,
be
so
in a tough spot.
He is telegraphing some sort of
He has
removal.
disenchant probably, right?
I don't see anything else. Bolt or disenchant. Or swords. Yeah. Okay, so that takes care of the other factory. And Pez looking in bad shape here. Drawing another land. Jed untaps, he takes 1, it's going to bring him down to 9. But right now he's winning this race.
I mean, again, and what did I tell you before this game started? Like, I lost to the Mind Twist.
Right.
Like, that is the way that this deck like really makes you unbalanced.
You know what? I have to...
most of old schools, basically, let's be honest. Mind Twist is such an important card. I mean, think about. I know you barely play Mind Twist anymore, Andy, but like, how many times do Mind Twist in dude's hand before and lost?
Let me. I just noticed the life totals are off the screen, guys. We're at. We have. Pez is at 8.
And Jed's at 9.
I'm gonna fix that right now. This wide screen is throwing me off. I'm not used to this wide screen.
Oh, this might just be the game.
Okay, that should be better. Now you guys following can look at the. So I turned away for a second. What happened to that scrubland? How did that scrubland?
It got binned to a recall. So he recalled his Time Walk.
Okay.
And likely will put Pez at 3. And we have to assume Jed has a counterspell. I mean, maybe he doesn't, but he was kind of playing as if he did. And he does run 4 bolts and 2 sonic blasts. So this is likely just the game.
Right. Yeah, it's looking looking bad right now.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, like, the Mind Twist for 4 didn't really affect the game. Yep, there was a side blast. So now we're off to the sideboard.
Yeah.
Yep, and there was the counter spell.
That was a tough one. That was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you start down a card and then you get Mind Twisted, there's not much coming back from that, right? Like, Pez would have had to, like, top deck a balance or something.
Right. Yeah, that was
to really get back in that game.
All right, so let's talk about the decks a little bit. I think we mentioned a little bit about them. Let me see if I can pull.
Yeah, so Jed is on like more of a. We can talk about Jed's first. So he's on more of a traditional temple list, sort of like back. Oh gosh, yeah, like less burn, some of the best like control and permission spells you can get, but he's adopted a mana base that supports three control or three counter spells.
Right. All right. So there's a quick.
Which I thought was interesting
Other than
because he doesn't run control magic.
No, not at all. Not even in the sideboard. And I figured control magic would be
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's weird because he has Wrath of Gods like where you would see control magic. So and I think what you're gonna see, and this is something, he kind of goes into like a more control-ish shell, where he swaps out like the counter spells for like the Rebs or the Bebs to be more like appropriate to the situation. And when we were testing with a similar list to Pez's, he brought in the Preacher and the King Suleiman.
Right.
I think he took out the Dibs actually against me. So he brought in Cop Red, and I know we saw him do that against Jeff when they played their game in the actual like I think second batch or maybe the first batch. I don't remember when it was.
Yeah.
So I think he fears burn. So I don't know exactly what he'll do sideboard wise.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a control deck you can turn into with this sideboard, but I mean, it doesn't.
Right,
seem...
it's a little weird.
Maybe he was fearing
because like
somebody going wide, like weenies or something. That's which control magic would not be
yeah.
great against.
I mean, it's still like Earthquake is still a little better for that.
Yeah.
Even in Atlantic, 4 mana is still a lot to meet the board, and yeah, I know your Lions bite it, but do you really care if your Lions bite it?
What do you think? What do you think he's putting in right now, Jed?
Well, Jed definitely pulls out the 3 counter spells, for sure. Probably the recall because the game's fast. And I would pull the Time Twister. I just think giving a draw 7 to a burn list is really bad. So that's at least 5 cards.
Yeah, that's
some number of Rebs will come in because he'll definitely feel like Psyblast and Dibs are some of Pez's best ways to close the game out. And if Pez does bring in control magic, he'll want the Rebs. And he did bring in King Suleiman and Preacher against me, so I'm not sure if he just.
I mean, it seems like a huge.
What's that?
How effective is that with all the removal?
Terrible. But I think I understand. Like he's worried about Dibs. I think, and that's the approach he took. I don't know if he'll do it today, but obviously it's just not very good when your opponent has 12 burn spells.
Right.
He doesn't usually untap. So and then the question becomes: does he keep in his Dibs against Pez, who has 4 Psyblasts and who could bring in 3 Spirit Links, which Spirit Links are a huge deal breaker in this matchup.
Oh yeah, Spirit Links are amazing.
So yes, there's some interesting choices here. He also could side out his library on the draw.
That's true.
If Pez decides to keep in the Black Vices, like the odds of like, it's kind of a liability here, especially if you're not on the play.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely an option.
He's got some stuff he could take out and put in.
So
and I don't really know, mainly because like the build is kind of weird. Like he's got some wonky cards in here.
Okay.
But I just don't know how to use because I would never like. I mean, did you ever think about using Wrath of God in one of these lists? It's really
not
interesting.
really. It's not. It's a little out of left field.
Yeah.
I know I tend to go left field, but it's not. I don't know. I like to streamline the strategy as much as possible, the aggro-ish, Jed's aggro-ish deck is just, I don't know. I don't see Wrath of God being high on my list.
I mean, I love Earthquake in these shells, but that's a total different beast.
Earthquake.
And if we look at Pez's list is, I think, so this is the straight 75 that I played at Spikefest. And so the real question for him is, does he keep the Vices in on the play? And I don't know. I was traditionally taking them out almost all the time.
Really?
Because your opponent can maul. Well, like once your opponent knows you're on Vice, like they're just incentivized to maul, to have a good hand, so they don't
generally
get
that's not
punished
something
by it, right?
I aim to do though. I mean, obviously it depends
Well,
on what
it's not
deck
so
you're
much
playing, but
you mull to get under Vice, but you mull to a hand that doesn't lose to Vice. Like you're more incentivized to keep like, all right, I have a 2 lander with no fast mana. I might want to change that up, or I might want to make sure I have a 1 drop to impact the board or develop my mana faster.
right,
And so you'll take that chance. And I mean, the difference is like Jed doesn't have balance, which makes the mulling worse.
right.
But yeah, I think like that's the real question. Like Pez will definitely bring in the 3 spirit links for sure.
I think if I'm Pez, I think I keep devices.
Okay. Yeah, I mean
I don't.
that's. I mean, I could see it. Really depends. Like, if Jed takes out the dibs and keeps in the lions, Vice is just really bad against lions lists like that. Even though he has counter magic, like he's still gonna empty his hand down to like 4.
Right.
So I haven't found them to be great. But on the play is when the Vice is the best.
Right. Exactly. On the draw, it's
It just
a
also
different story. Right?
Yeah, and it does like Vice siding out the Vices is relatively straightforward with his deck, just because it allows him to sort of bring in the Spirit Links. Because otherwise, he has to decide: do I take out Burn? No. Do I take out the Atogs? Maybe. And bring in Spirit Links, but he doesn't even know if Jed will keep in the dibs or not. He could still Spirit Link his own dib, but it becomes less
some
good.
mental magic here. Some see who levels who. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think I'd prefer to be in Pez's situation because at least they're all threats, right? Because like while Spirit Link itself can neutralize your opponent's creature when it's against dibs or you have dibs,
right.
It sort of serves as a threat in and of itself. So like he doesn't have to worry about having the wrong answer, whether it's like a disenchant and his opponent drops a lion. He's like, well, shit, this is terrible. They're all sort of like threats that we'll have to put Jed like to answer them.
Right.
But I mean, I've been like I have not loved Vice, but again, I think I won 1 of 8 die rolls for the Derby, so playing
you're
Black
due.
Vice in that environment was not great.
Next tournament, you're due.
Oh, so I did that, Andy, and then I played in that Kumite tournament like this past weekend with Danny.
Oh, you did.
I lost all 5 of my die rolls.
That was
I lost all 5 of my die rolls there too.
That must have been a tough day for you. I thought you skipped on that.
Oh no, man, I was feeling terrible that day. Yeah, I was gonna skip it, but I soldiered on, sort of, so to speak. But I lost every die roll. I actually won one in round 2, and we got to the 3rd turn of the game, and then they told us no, they had to repair because they messed something up. So technically, I won 1 of 6.
We had to repair because Seth won his die roll.
Seth was die roll. The world is wrong.
All right, so it looks like we're underway here. Let's see if hopefully nobody mulligans and we got a decent game. I don't know if Pez drew yet, but I didn't see anything.
I always like when I don't know if you've ever played Dom on these webcams.
I have, yeah.
But like, so he'll sometimes will just like sit there in his underwear and his camera just like gets right in his crotch. It's fantastic.
Well, that's awkward.
See, now this is like really good for Pez, right? Because
okay, so if he has
he's the aggressor, and he's just going to draw a shit ton of cards right now.
Okay.
Because Jed doesn't have balance, and outside of Mind Twist, there's literally nothing that Jed can do that would force Pez to break library. Like, because all of Pez's spells are cheaper than Jed's.
Right, he's lower to the
and they're all threats. So he can just keep dropping a land and like playing a burn spell or a lion or a dib or whatever he's got in there, and it doesn't matter.
Just ride that library to victory.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you have a clear like a burn list that can run out of library and doesn't matter, and that's what we're seeing. Like at some point, Jed will have to expend all of his bolts because he only has 4 bolts, or I don't know if he brought in a Source of Postures or not.
No, there's 2 of them.
Again, like I have, there you go. See?
And he's gonna Ancestral? Yep. Alright, well that, I guess evens it up for a little while. Let's see if we can draw something.
Right.
have the nice New England old school playmat here, all the way from halfway around the world.
Is it Singapore or is it?
Singapore. That's what I
Where's
was told.
is that? That's where he lives, right? Singapore.
That's
Oh,
what
so there he got the orb.
Yeah.
No gentleman's flips here, I guess.
Nope. But he takes care of that library, so starting to even things up. Now Pez is free to vomit out his hand if he
Go
wants
bananas.
to. Paul says Singapore, Rhode Island. All right, here we go. So is that attacking? Okay, so he's going to come in for 2.
I think Paul's pulling our chain on that one.
I think so.
So it's interesting. Pez only dropped a soul ring.
So okay, so he doesn't. He does have a lot of cards in his hand, 6. So.
Right.
I always get that sinking feeling in my stomach whenever somebody who asks me how many cards I have in my hand, and then drops a City of Brass. Because
I always ask
because
because I never remember.
Huh?
Like on these web games, I never remember, and I just always ask. Because I ask at the time to like make a decision, and I'm like, fuck it, all right, and I just forget, and I have to just straight up ask again.
So you haven't leveled up to the point where you ask all the time just so people don't know that you have Mind Twist?
Oh no, it's only for my own awareness. I play no mental games with people.
All right, so that's gonna block. It's gonna pump. That'll take care of that lion.
See, I just don't. I hate just throwing a lion away, like any card away for
2
life or 3 life.
It does seem lack of no value when you're at 18 life.
Right, like do 2 or 3 life points really matter on a guy who doesn't have that many cards in hand?
Probably, yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. But hey. All right, let's see what.
I mean, maybe we can't see his hand, right? So like.
Right, we only get a certain amount of information, and we try to figure it out as best we can for.
But I have to say that I'd rather be facing down 2 factories with a lion and a dib as opposed to just a dib.
Yeah. Oh,
there it is.
There's
the control magic.
Let's see. I mean, that's a counterspell now or disenchant. Nope, he's gonna let it go. So unless he has a disenchant or swords or something, that guy's gonna start attacking.
I don't think he does because he would have disenchanted the factory last turn.
Right. Yeah.
I think, right? Like you don't just eat that.
Unless
you
don't
eat all that.
He'd have to draw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 cards.
Yeah, I like this. Just go all in.
Not afraid.
Well, I mean, because what's the worst can happen, right?
Nothing really. I mean,
you lose a vault, like.
But that would have,
like
you said, he would have used one of them last turn. So he can only really have one answer, right? That's the only thing that makes sense.
Right. See, this is like, and this is where now the burn list is just at a huge advantage, right? Because he's got the life advantage. He can close up the game faster.
Right.
And if you're Jed, you can't win this life race unless you get a disenchant. Dib on dib, you lose. And now Pez brought in the Spirit Links. Oh, baby.
Things are going to get nasty soon if he plays a Spirit Link. Right now, a little upward. He's at 11 and looking for answers. I think he has around 2 cards in his hand. 2 or 3 cards. Not many cards in his hand, too.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like
do you...
Ooh,
okay,
I like
so he
it.
plays another one.
So Pez could, like,
so do you attack
in theory,
into this?
attack with both factories.
Right, that's...
I mean, if I had one dib, I'd probably, now knowing that I have the second one, I would probably swing in with one of them. Just because what is the worst that he could do? Block it, bolt it? That's
Would you have
probably
swung
just
there
fine.
with 2 factories in his dib? Lose
I
a
probably would have at
factory?
least swung with a dib. But again, I don't know what's in
Well, I mean,
Pez's
he would have
hand.
just
Like,
blocked, right?
well, I guess, like, do you risk losing a dib to his dib?
It
And I
would
think I'm actually okay to take a bolt out of his hand.
it would put him at 5. I guess it would depend on the rest of your. That would be
Well,
really
he was
aggressive.
probably gonna. He would have no. Jed would have blocked with his dib and forced you to have the bolt. I think. But I like doing that because I don't see the downside.
I mean, I guess they can have it, but rather than make them make the
But
decision,
I'd rather have my dib in that situation eat a bolt because you're head in the life race.
Right.
Like you taking a bolt out of Jed's hand is actually like really good.
It's like you the dib taking it for you instead. I hear you.
Exactly, because like Jed can't win this life race. Like I don't even think this helps him win it.
Those are a lot. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, like unless he like has a Swords of Plowshares or like another bolt, a burn spell or something. Like I'm just not sure.
Well, he doesn't have one this turn. He only has the Strip Mine on tap, so he won't be able to cast it.
I mean, I think if you're Pez, you still can just swing in with the factories. I probably wouldn't swing in with the dib just because I think you want to try and win the life race here, and this requires more math than I feel like comfortable doing right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Oh, balance.
Oh.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay.
There you go. And
So
see, that's the value of balance, man. If you can cast your planes or white mana, you should have balance.
Obviously, I didn't know he had balance in his hand, but as for a moment there, I was considering just passing and letting him take 3. I guess he wanted to not get it counterspelled. Because, like you said, I don't think he was winning that race.
Simplifying the board is good. Right. You know, but I do understand, like, he decimated his hand, he decimated his mana base.
Right.
And, like, now he's one bolt away from just winning the game outright.
Yeah. Oh, and he just got another.
It's fine. Yeah, the factory's great. Factory races did. Like,
wow.
I mean, Jed can't do anything.
This is awkward. I feel like if we keep bad-mouthing Dib, then people might stop using them.
Well, not bad. I mean,
they're
a great card.
A great card. Obviously,
like,
it's a great card, but it's just you don't want to be okay. So tutor this.
He's a
what does
5.
It get here? 5 with 1 mana left over, 3 total.
I mean,
this is tough.
He could either go for like he has one card in hand.
He has one
outside of this card he's getting.
Exactly, yeah.
So I mean, there's a world where like he gets it. Does he have control? He doesn't have control magic in his board.
No. He has Rebs Bebs.
I don't know what. Maybe
COP
he plays
Red.
a slow game, hopes to. That's not going to win the game.
That's not going to win the game.
He'll still lose. I mean, because the thing is, he has to. Did he just get the bolt?
Maybe. Or whatever this card is. COP Red. Huh. It still doesn't change the
I guess
dip
he's
problem,
thinking.
but he is gonna.
Well, so here's the funny thing. Like, you still bolt. Like, you can just bolt him right now, and it's effectively the same thing, right? Like, he had to tap out essentially, and he'll take 1 regardless if he would have. So it didn't actually change the math at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's
so
losing this race right
top
now.
Red.
Okay, that cancels out the lion, but I still don't see. I mean, him winning this race unless he has burn in his hand.
Oh, Jesus. He changed the lion. See, that's why the cop red is just so bad here. I don't know if I should be offended that I told him when we played, Andy, not to do cop red against this deck. And he did it again, and I just think it's just so bad.
This is all types of bad right now. Let's see.
Wait, what is he doing?
What is it? No, he can't bounce it back.
Oh, is it still on the stack? Is he thinking about countering it? Is that what he's...
So
yeah, maybe he was thinking about countering it. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
game.
game. I'm not sure what happened there, but
We'll have to find out what he DT'd for. Like, I want to know. I mean, because I was thinking it's either like a Swords of Plowshares, or you just try and go like a Lotus into the other card in your hand being awesome, or an Ancestral, right?
he used the ancestral, didn't he? I think he used it
Oh, did
early.
he? Yeah, that's right. He did use it early. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
so
mean, what
that's
do you
I mean, it's
actually? So
probably
it
the
probably
bolt
would have been like just swords.
or the bolt. I mean, the bolt takes care of the factory as well, just without life gain. So
I guess, but that doesn't allow you don't win that race still though, right? He still was
no,
going
he
to lose
doesn't.
that
But I'm
race.
I'm looking through his deck now, and I don't think there's a card in his deck that would win that race. Time walk maybe? Did he time walk? No, but even then, he still doesn't win the race because the dip kills him.
Yeah, it wasn't a turns issue. It was the
Yeah.
dib's going to kill you before you can get the last swing in.
Yeah, Pez was just
Because he
too high in
effectively
life.
took another turn. Because like if he DT'd for time walk, he basically time walked himself, right? Because he took an extra point of damage, which that's what his life total was. The points of damage each one gave him another attack with the dib.
Yeah. Even a
So I
bolt.
think he had to either go for the bolt or the cop red. And I'm thinking that he probably went cop red, thinking that he could potentially prevent red burn from changing the life totals. But again, I think he was going to. I actually didn't figure it out, but I thought he was going to lose that race.
Mhm. So now I don't see. No, I see Jed. Is he going back into his sideboard? No, he's just shuffling up. So I was wondering if now that he saw if the guys may have changed up their sideboarding plan for the third game, given they saw how each one was going to sideboard. But I guess not.
Well, the thing we do know is the vices are definitely coming out of Pez's deck.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't see him take out anything unless he's really fast. I wasn't paying attention, but
he may have taken him out the last game. Also, he may have thought that
oh okay.
he was going to be too fast and just sideboard him out game two anyway. Um, so, I mean, that may have been what he did. But they're definitely not in there now. Maybe there's an ATOG in there potentially.
Yeah.
But he's going to have control magic, and he's going to have spirit links.
Yeah. This is a tough match.
And even like psychic, if you just had like a random card to add in, you could just add a psychic purge because it's blue source of damage and it kills lions. Because Jed kept the lions in, so knowing that he has the lions, like if you just can easily 1-for-1 remove his threats.
I'm telling you, this psychic purge. I think it might catch on.
It's a great card.
I think it might catch on.
I played.
I've been saying it for a while,
mono black,
but people have not.
What? We've been playing it for a while, Andy.
Huh? What was
We've
that?
been playing it for a while.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. I was actually thinking of doing main deck. Who was it that ran four?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that good, but
I mean,
it's fun.
No,
it's definitely a fun card.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I used it at Eternal Weekend, and it just killed a lot of things. The Kumite last weekend was the first time I think I can ever remember someone hemming me and flipping over the Psychic Purge, and they were at 5 life. So it's the first time I've ever killed someone with the Psychic Purge reveal.
Check that off your accomplishment list there. This is. Yeah,
so Pez definitely mulled at least once, and I think Jed did also.
Is he thinking about mulling down to 5 now? Yeah. Oh wait, no.
I know. Well,
hold on. Let's see.
I mean, again, like a mull to 5 isn't the end of the world for Pez because he does have balance, right?
Right.
Like his ability to just go land Mox balance is really good. Or I mean, not. It's a really good play.
It is, but I don't think that comes up often enough.
No. I mean, it doesn't come up often, but it's a thing that happens.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that happens. All right, so let's see. Tundra. Will we see a lion? Oh, okay. Lotus.
Does he have a mind twist?
He has. It could be a mind twist for 3.
It's unfucking believable.
Oh, Oh, just brutal.
I mean, I told you the only times I lost were when he mind twisted me. Um, I mean, it's only for 3, right?
It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not great.
Well, it's suboptimal for
Ugh.
sure, but there is a chance. Oh my
No
God, 3
psychic
mana
purges.
sources.
Wow. This is. Yeah, it doesn't. He throws that back
I
into his
think he
graveyard.
got
I
probably
think.
all of. Oh, there's a mana source though.
I'm reading. I'm trying to read Pez's
Has his
reaction there, and
body
it's not
language.
good. Yeah, he
It
kind
was
of threw
not
those
good.
cards into his graveyard pretty fast.
Yeah, I think he probably wanted the City of Brass or the Pearl. Um,
Yeah. Let's see if he can. Okay, he's drawing some mana sources, so he can definitely cast some spells. Let's see what he does. No, he's not doing anything right now.
so here's the funny thing: like, what was in his hand then for the other 3 cards? If he bin 3 mana sources and there's 2 more mana sources on the table, like, did he have any spells at all?
I mean, if I were a betting man, he probably drew those lands, or at least one of them. I don't know what he had in his hand. Probably
Yeah.
burn, or he definitely. Does he want to get? Did he not play the Savannah? Oh no, he did. Oh jeez.
He goes for red. Red. There's only 8 red cards in the whole deck. White is so much more important.
Okay.
And that should resolve because I don't think there's any. I don't think he has like any way to counter that, right?
He has
I guess
reps.
if he brought in rebs.
But it does
And so
resolve,
here's
and
where
Pez is starting to play some
this was
stuff.
the one
Okay.
difference that we made from this Spike Fest list is we didn't have regrowth in at Spike Fest, and I think that was wrong.
You did not,
And
now
so Chef and I both had regrowth for the Summer Derby.
he does not. I do not see regrowth here.
Yeah, no, Pez doesn't have it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
He's using the older list. Yeah.
All right, so a little bit of luck kind of almost counteracts the mind twist, I would say. But definitely Pez is not out
Oh, and
of
so
it.
here's like, why would why? I guess he's trying to short his mana by the disenchant to prevent dibs from hitting the table.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't have any removal. Okay.
See, it just like I don't understand throwing a disenchant at the worst mocks in the list. I mean, like Emerald's the worst mock. There's not a single green spell on the list.
That's true. The only thing is that he's probably constraining his mana.
That's what he's got to be doing, right? He's got to be. But again, like, why is he fearing a dib? Like, he's got mana advantage. Like, if he can't handle a singleton dib, like, you did something wrong, right? You mind twist your opponent for 3. You have a huge mana advantage. If you can't handle a single dib,
maybe he kept it for the mind twist Lotus, which is not terrible, but.
No,
because he's been making his land drops. I don't think he made a land drop that turn, but he made every other one. So maybe that's what he had. I don't know. Okay, so Pez is going to be the first aggressor, first blood in this third game.
Yeah, I like
attacking
it.
for 4. Let's see if he doesn't have any. If he has a response, reaching for mana.
I mean, I think if you're Pez, you just take. That's great. Like that is everything Pez could want to happen. Like it sucks to lose lands and stuff and such, but like
the dib is going to be so much harder.
He'll draw more mana sources, right? So now there are
how many cards? He has 2
King
cards
Solomon,
left.
Preacher.
Jed looking really controlly right now. Not really doing much of anything. Has played lands. Has mana for days.
Well, he might also have he may have thrown the swords there, thinking he has a Reb. And maybe he brought in the Rebs to fight the dibs, and maybe that's why he wasn't worried about dib after sort of constraining the mana and then wasting the disenchant on the mocks and then throwing swords at factories seems weird. Right? Maybe he's just on a mana denial strategy.
Maybe that. Okay. Well, now we
but
have
then
two,
again,
two,
Pez
two
is
lines.
a burn list that needs 3 mana max. So
let's see if this is a land. No, but the 2 lines are definitely going to come in. I do not think they're going to be swords.
See, look at this. They
Psy-Blasts.
draw Side Blast. How great is that?
Wow, that does not seem great, but there's a third
Yeah, I mean,
mana
because like
source.
he's removing. Right. So now, like, if you're Pez, you just throw a div down if you've got one.
Absolutely. I mean, he's used 1 disenchant. He runs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that Chaos Orb just waiting to answer any sort of
Yeah.
blocker.
I mean, this is where like so they traded, right? And then at some point, like you have to deal with a lion. So if you waste all of your other removal, like swords and stuff, you have like, you have to kill him somehow. Yeah, see, like you still need to deal with the lion if you're Jed.
You just continue to race here. Because lions can obviously race dibs. Assuming you have nothing else.
Right. I mean, I think
No,
if you're
he's gonna-
Pez, you press the advantage, draw out a disenchant, because he also probably he might have Spirit Link or Control because he has a couple cards in hand, right?
He has.
Pez is
It
not
looks like he has
cardless.
about 3. Yeah.
So he has Spirit Links and Control Magic, so like he can just, he's seen 2. Yeah,
There
there you
it
go.
is. Oh,
See,
man.
he ate the disenchant, and
He's got.
now Jet used 2 disenchants, so he's basically forced to either find one of the other 2 disenchants if he brought in the 4th, or blast his own dib,
Oh, he's
which
looking.
is
He's asking how
a
many. He's
calamity.
probably asking how many disenchants he has in his graveyard.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's what Pez did. Like he forced him to waste another disenchant, which again, like I just think it was a bad move to waste a disenchant on a Mox Pearl.
All right.
It's just a bad move. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Andy? Do you think people don't value disenchant enough? Like they just throw them around willy nilly?
Because everybody plays 4.
Yeah, like they just don't realize like how good it is, and they're just like, oh fuck, there's a target. I've got mana. Let's do this.
I don't think so. I mean, people I played. They don't just randomly.
Oh Jesus!
Oh wow! This match is gonna. Okay, that's gonna be counted. Now we're getting ridiculous. No, I think disenchants are reasonably valued. I haven't seen them being thrown away per se too often, but I tend to like my disenchants and save them for
Yeah.
occasions such as this. Let's see. So it's 10 to 26. It's a slow clock.
Yeah, I mean,
but I feel like as soon as Pez draws a red source, then okay, time walk. Let's see.
yeah, I mean, you're
Things
just
will
digging for
change.
something, right? Like either the Reb, the disenchant, or the side blast. Although, man, that's a real kick in the genitals. Side blasting your own dib.
that cannot be
After
good.
it's been spirit linked.
That's not something you want to be doing.
That cannot feel delightful.
I may have done that once. It did. I'm still recovering.
Oh, geez, there's the mind twist.
All right.
So, does Jet have how many cards? He must have what?
I think he has
2
one
cards
more
in hand
card.
or 1 card?
He has 1.
So, what card is good enough to waste? I guess it doesn't matter,
it
right?
doesn't. Yeah, you might as well
Just hide it.
even if it's a land.
It's not enough.
This is a slow.
Spirit
this is a
Link,
slow
Andy,
one.
that's
this
the
is a slow
card.
one. Spirit Link is no joke.
I gave up trying to buy. I bought 1 summer Source of Plowshares, and then I started playing with Spirit Links, and so I'm no longer trying to pick up the playset of those bad boys.
Okay, you're done. Yeah, you're done with that pursuit. You moved.
I'm done
on
with
to other
Source of
things.
Plowshares. Moved on.
You moved on to Phantasmal Forces.
I have actually, yeah.
I know.
I think I'm going to try those at MobsterCon. There will be Phantasmal Forces cast potentially at MobsterCon this weekend.
Really? That's 4 toughness in the air is the real thing. All right, here's a Winter
Yeah,
Mishra.
the 1 toughness is not so great, but
The 28 is going to go down to 26. 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 And he's going to
Sure.
bolt Jed, I assume. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
that's fine. I mean, at this point, if you're Pez, you
It
don't
doesn't
even
matter.
acknowledge the lions as a creature.
The only
Yeah.
thing that matters is that 7, getting that down to 0 as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the Spirit Link stays on the board, you're going to win the game. And I don't think has Pez. He's played what, one? Has he played a chain at all this game?
No, last game was the one where he chained the line, yeah. So he hasn't played a chain. So he's got a whole lot of direct damage that he hasn't used.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to play the chain until like the end.
Right, absolutely.
Oh God, he's just.
I mean, does he even have any card
Control
in hand?
Magic, the Spirit Linked Dib.
I know no, he control magic to Savannah Lion. He's gonna bolt him down to 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just going for the throat then.
Relentless. Pez not pulling any punches.
Yeah,
This
he's gonna
is-
make his own dib kill him.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I would have probably tried to steal the dib and just gone crazy that way.
He's gonna get. Oh wow.
That's game.
Yeah. There were the chain lightnings.
Yeah, he was just sandbagging him the whole time.
Wow. That was it. That was a crazy.
Yeah, I
game.
mean, that was
Yeah. Again, it just
textbook.
goes to shows how powerful control magic and spirit link are on that sideboard.
I mean, and they work really well in what Pez is doing because
Right.
they're cheap and they allow him to win the dib standoffs.
Right.
And if you think about like he's a burn list, right? So he doesn't want to play Swords of Plowshares to get rid of a dib or an Urnum.
Yeah.
Because that basically requires him to draw 2 additional cards or, 1 Psionic Blast.
Yeah.
And so Spirit Link negates them
Uh-huh.
and doesn't require him to draw extra cards. But also, if he had done it to his own dib or something, he would have smashed him. Yeah, and that's the sideboard strategy I thought he would take.